And welcome back, everybody, to our second semifinal matchup here for the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections. I'm joined by Rain Day and Girl, who did an excellent job in our last semifinals, and now we're moving to another one, which could very well be just as intense. Rain Day, this is going to be a great one that I've been personally waiting for. You've been hyping up, well, not necessarily hyping up Torrent, but you got history with them, but now they're about to reach their biggest challenge, Era.
Yeah, and Stuhni and Bowswer, I mean, they've also had experience in the ALGS as accomplished competitive pros, and you know, Oxy's here ready to play. I think this is going to be a tough matchup for them, not just because I love Torrent, I love the squad that they put together. I think they've got the potential to win, but from what I've seen on paper, Era have just been performing almost the way Esports Arena have, a cut above the rest. And so to me, it feels like it's going to be up to Torrent to kind of beat Era versus Era letting themselves lose to Torrent.
Yeah, fair enough. And girl, you know, Era is a team that's been very, very much about being in your face, highly aggressive. They're not scared to go toe-to-toe with any opponent they go with. It's going to be a big battle for Torrent to slow their aggression down.
To be honest, I don't think Torrent's very scared of them. Honestly, the last time I played against Knoqd in a tournament, he 1v2'd my team with a massive. So I actually have high hopes for Torrent. I think they are a formidable team as well. They got to this point, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're going to put up a great match.
Well, one player that is definitely going to be trying his hardest to win this series with his team is going to be Eurice. This guy is incredible. Now, this is, I believe, Rain Day, if I'm not mistaken, the highest total damage we've seen with the least amount of games played.
Yeah, maybe with the least amount of games played. I mean, efficiency is something Eurice will be known for across his streams, across his time in pro play. I mean, the guy really knows what he's doing. What makes him such an interesting streamer and content creator, but it also is what makes him such a dangerous player. 43 kills. That was, I think we looked at Duplex earlier, but that's double almost the amount of kills that he had. Not quite. It's about 1.5 times. And that's really, I mean, a testament to how good Eurice is, how capable he is as a fragger, and how important that Pathfinder is going to be if they want to win. If he keeps up on that role, getting this type of damage and kills on a game, it is going to be tough for Era, and I could see Torrent turning this around and getting themselves into grand finals.
Well, with Eurice, girl, being that Pathfinder, we do expect him to be the guy who's going to be in your face aggression and obviously picking up the bulk of the eliminations, at least cleanups, right? It may not be the shining star whenever it comes down to damage done, but he's definitely going to be the guy to capitalize on the damage done from his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what Pathfinder is there for. Grab and go ham. Eurice has matured so much over the last few years. I remember we used to play together, actually, and he would go in, grapple in, and die, you know, and now he's a pro. Now, he used to be really good, too. I mean, but I'm sure he's matured over the time, and I'm really excited to see him play today.
I am too. Well, let's take a look at our maps, and Rain Day, well, let's just walk through it, right? We got Thermal Station starting off, Overflow, Phase Runner, Party Crasher, and then Dome. This time around, no Encore.
I think this is great. I mean, having Party Crasher, which we've seen is a quick map towards the back half of this set, really, I think, gives strategy the advantage here, especially starting off with Thermal. These will be two slower paced maps, followed by the slowest paced map on Phase Runner. So this is going to allow both of these teams to shine, and you're going to have to earn every kill. They're not just going to show up to you because you happen to be 6 feet away from each other on a small map.
Yeah, girl, I think we're going to see a bit more variety from Era this time around. They don't have the bulk, as you know, Rain Day was saying, the bulk of those quicker paced maps off the rip. So they're going to be sprinkled in between the slower paced maps, which could fare better for Torrent.
Yeah, that was a really good say by Rain Day there. You don't normally have Party Crasher there at the end, and Dome as well. It's kind of like a get in your face near the end of the map. So it's going to be nice to see these two pull out maybe a longbow or a triple take on these maps because they're more of a long range, slow pace.
Well, I gotta say, man, maybe we'll see Horizon finally come out from Dome this time around. You know, we did talk about it, or at least you pointed out wisely so, the both of you, theory crafting, maybe even Caustic. Who knows about that one, Watson? But either way, this is the time to maybe bring it out. You know, semifinals, chance to get into grand finals. But like I said before, in the first semifinal matchup, there's only one team who can enter into grand finals at this point because we already know who else is going to be there. Esports Arena waiting their opponent. So Rain Day, who do you think is the favorite in this matchup?
Well, I'm rooting for Torrent, but I had to pick a favorite who I think is going to win. And right now, I think it's going to be Era. I feel that they've played the best coming into this, and I feel like they have shown that they are dominant in all cases. So I'm waiting for that to be overruled, but I got to give it to them in the advantage heading into the set.
Oh, the heart going with Torrent, but the brain going with Era. I get it. Era's been absolutely unstoppable, Rain Day. Girl, what about you? Who you going with?
As much as Era has been unstoppable, I think Torrent's going to have the upper hand here. I think these snipes from Eurice are going to be coming through clean, and I have really high hopes for Torrent. As much as I love Era, and I love the pickup from Oxy because Oxy's been performing super well.
Sure.
Recently, I've been seeing him in those ranked games. He's been playing exceedingly well, and in these arena tournaments, he's a gunner for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting to see them duke it out.
Wow, so you're going Torrent, and I don't know if you're doing it at this point out of spite just to be opposite
I know.
of Rain
What's
Day.
up, man?
Yeah, what's going on?
Honestly, I've known someone from Torrent for a long time, even though I've known, to be honest, I know players on both sides, but Eurice, I think I've played with the most out of both of the teams. So a little bit biased here.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, man. You're going with the heart this time around. I like it. Chat, who are you going with? Because a little bit more serious for them. They got channel points on the line, all right? I know they want to become richer. They definitely don't want to lose them. So there it is. They're going Torrent. So Rain Day. You're the only one who's going for Era, which I must say is pretty surprising because Era's been on a tear.
Yeah, I think Torrent are fan favorites. I think they won a great set yesterday. We were kind of hyping them up, and I think they've been in the scene for a while, so I could see why the chat is going with them as well. I see why Girl is rooting for him also, but I think Era is kind of got this one in the bag to start off, but I feel that this, and just like every arenas matchup, there's a chance for anybody.
Of course.
At the end of the day, a lot of these games and these 4-2s came down to 2 clutches by the same player 2 times in a row. So anything can happen. I'm excited to see both of these teams clash here in just a moment.
Well, if Oxy Eurice is playing like he did before, dropping 20 eliminations after 4 total games, it might be tough for Torrent. But either way, though, it's definitely going to be an exciting one. Like I said, 1 spot left in Grand Finals. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be Era? Is it going to be Torrent? Well, we're going to find out shortly. Rain Day Girl, take it away.
All right, welcome here to this semifinal number 2 in our second to last match of the day. We got the Grand Finals coming up right after this. Rain Day and Girl. It's going to be Torrent versus Era. And big shout out to Torrent VP Wade. He used to cast Apex Legends. He was at the first LAN with me over in Poland and over in San Francisco when we did a few shows to kick off this entirety of what Apex Legends broadcast has now become. And now we've branched into so many different tournaments and so many different tournament organizers. Big shout out. Gotta send love to Torrent to start all this. But, Era, to me, Girl, I have them winning this. And I just feel that it's going to be tough for anybody to go against how effectively Era has really been promoting their play here in every single match that we've seen them.
Yeah, but as we've been talking about, right, like these maps, I feel like they favor Torrent. I really do. I know Era's a really good team and they really like those close-up engagements, and maybe if they can close that gap, it might work out for them. But I have really high hopes, and we're getting started here with Thermal Station. This one's a 50-50 for me, actually, because it's such an even map. You never know who's going to get the high ground. You're going to see those jump pads going for that high ground. You're going to see the Pathfinders on each team. Excited.
I'm excited as well. And at the end of the day, all the showmanship is out of the way. We've done our predictions, but here is where you find out the answers. The real truth shows up. And it's going to be Thermal Station with Torrent and Era fighting for that final spot in the $10,000 Invitational. Stuhni, Bowswer, and Oxy Eurice ready to rock and roll. And an early grapple slightly missed. Won't shove off the timing too badly, though. Arcane on the rotation side. You'll see he's already taken a few shots as well, and Knoqd just holding down this left side in case he needs to peek the door. All the cover he needs right now.
We don't often see 2 Gibbies in a match here. We always see one team with a Wraith and one team with a Gibraltar. And to be honest, it'd be nice to see the statistic of which compositions are actually winning the most games. That'd be nice to see after this tournament ends. But for now, Area Eternity, they have the most damage on those. Are playing up close and personal with that wingman. Hopefully he doesn't get caught out of position here as he phases out. or tries to, and they take down Arcane.
I mean, can you believe it? All the damage that they did. This is definitely an opportunity, I think, for a push from Torrent, but just as much damage as you saw Eurice do, it didn't matter. 2 players go down in that same span of time on the side of Torrent, and Era are looking good. Eurice having to go push by himself. Not going to be able to win it. It's a 1v2, even though it looked like a 1v1. Bowswer helping from the outside, and that's going to be an easy 1-0 start here for Era.
That's the distracted we were talking about, and that's the advantage of playing Wraith. Is you're taking in the brunt of your teammates are able to focus fire that team and output damage, and Bowswer got away with 1 HP. That was crucial. Stuhni with the amazing shots. Oxy is getting that opening shot and easy wipe for them. Bowswer didn't even do anything. That was like a 2v. The distraction, and that's really important.
And when you have something like this, a $5,000 potentially game, or setting you up for one, you cannot allow distractions to get in the way. And now you see Torrent firing away. Eurice in a good position here. And holding on with the wingman. A couple of shots from Bowswer to back him up. And I called him the final boss once. I remember getting a tweet about that. As Bowswer was for many of us in our childhood. Come on, don't tell me he didn't play Mario. And it's a little bit more serious this time around, though. Yet they do still have the lava. Surprisingly, a few similar elements. Eurice, though, not liking any of this. He's saying, Rainday, quit it with the jokes. We're going down 2-0 like that. As Era take a quick lead here. And this is looking very bad if you want to talk about overall set precedence here. Torrent haven't really gotten off the races yet, off the starting line.
No, and these have been really fast rounds. And that's what you were talking about. Era Eternity is going to take advantage of those, pounce on top of them. And I feel like Torrent, I don't know, in the first round, they potentially could have used that bubble to save themselves. I'm not 100% sure, but they're just getting absolutely demolished by these wingmans inside. And Eurice, always the last one alive, but he doesn't have enough HP to clutch this out.
Problem. And you can see Eurice here getting aggressive yet again. He's playing that kind of frag damage roll, and this time getting Stuhni would be huge, but the fact that it took a while has caused problems on the side. Knoqd has been knocked as well. Oxy gets away, and he's still alive there. Now Eurice is down. It's a 2v1 still, even though Oxy is low, but he's got the shield battery. Is it destined to be a 3-0? It is. And before we even start, Era Eternity finishes it.
Don't know what happened there. Knoqd went down for free, but Eurice, with the damage output, they were almost able to clutch that out if they were able to get Oxy on that call, but it was again a 2v3 situation, so it's so hard to finish that one.
Yeah, and you know, this is why, you know, when you have a heart going for one team and you have a brain going for another, you go, I mean, it's one thing to say you want to compete, but these guys have really shown that nobody's at our level right now, and that doesn't mean anything except that they're at their best. And that's kind of what I like about the world that we've missed a little bit. And some of my favorite athletes like Kobe Bryant, when he was playing, it was all about what he needs to do to win. It had nothing to do with how good Dwayne Wade was or LeBron was going to be better than him in the future. It's all about what Kobe's doing now. And he made greatness because of that, because he didn't focus on any of the other noise. I feel like Era Eternity, bit of a stretch to compare him to Kobe, but I think the mentality is general in that who cares how good these other players are, what their potential is, or their resumes? We're going to play our game, and it's going to dominate. And so far, that's the fastest thermal station I think we've seen the entire tournament.
Yeah, it actually is. That was clean, concise. Eurice had a couple clutch moments there, or clutch opportunities, per se, but he wasn't able to do it. They didn't let him because they played so solid as a team. They output so much damage. They put him down to 50 HP. Who's going to clutch with 50 HP, right? And they didn't give them enough space to breathe. I don't know if playing Gibby was the play there or playing middle. I haven't seen many players specifically focus on getting into that mid, but they absolutely got demolished in that mid area. So,
how do you feel about the fact that Overflow and Thermal and FaZe going into this, typically what we've seen are maps that people take their time on. And yet we know Era loves to rush and they love to find moments where they can aggress onto their teammates. It felt like Thermal was a small map the way they played it. Every few seconds, there was no extended runarounds. There was no chasing. There was no high ground. They just fought in the middle and they pressed the fight and they won it quickly. Is that something that I feel like if you are on the side of Torrent, you need to change heading into Overflow?
Absolutely. I don't think they played it as good as they could have. I think taking some different areas, maybe because they had Gibby, they wanted to play the middle so that they could Gibby dome up and try and close the gap, but it really did not work. So they're going to have to potentially play split up a little bit more and
Mm.
use their communication skills, because we know they've got the mechanical skills, but they just did not seem on the same page, and going down for free just isn't going to cut it for this next game if you want to make it to grand finals.
We know you got to put your stamp on the game and the pace of the game, and that was certainly something Era did. We'll see if in Overflow that can happen. We've seen several different angles both those teams can take, whether it's the west side, fighting on that most northern side, where there's that low ground to play across, or fighting on more of the eastern side and maybe the southern side, where there's more of the angle. There's that kind of lip that hangs out with the circle where the bin is, and then you can find yourself having an opportunity to play, in a little bit more free-for-all kind of zone. But either way, you got to slow down the pace and get it back in control. Torrent haven't really had time to adjust. They've barely played 5 minutes of arenas at this point, already down 1-0. This is a game where they've got to make a statement.
And you know they're going to be mad as hell right now because they do not like losing. Knoqd is a previous ranked 1 Predator player. He had one season, I believe, like 90,000 RP or more. So he's definitely a grinder. Eurice, also a grinder. They all put in so much time and effort. RKN talking great things about him, but Eurice dying for free on this bin. That's what we've been talking about. We can't be doing that as a team. And you get the arena. That's good. Not doing the work here, and they're both playing on this low ground angle, though. We'll see what can happen.
And finally having a moment here, and you can see Eurice trying to get the angle. Oh, look at the damage. The wingman shots are just so good. And Eurice finds it, and they turn it around like that. What seemed like could have been an even fight. Eurice with 2-3 wingman shots makes it look like just a kid going up against an adult in a playground game. It just isn't fair. Era Eternity 4-0 in a row. Torrent yet to get on the board.
Oh my goodness. They did really well on the re-knock there, but Oxy just being in that perfect position. That was so important. Stuhni playing this really well here, but not going in and absolutely demolishing him. Look at this angle. He wasn't playing it fast. He wasn't going to drop on their heads. They knew where the two of them were, and that's not a great position to be when you're in a 2v2 situation and you can get angled up on like that. So they had to get out of there, but they had nothing to use.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. They knew exactly where they were. And so it seemed like maybe they had a defensive advantage, but once that bubble's gone, well, no surprise, buddy. We know exactly how to approach this, and we know you're not going anywhere. Really seems to have hurt. Eurice consistently doing a lot of damage early game, but it hasn't resulted in kills. That's the one thing they haven't been able to find. Eurice has been slippery like a snake, able to get out with just a sliver of health and get back with a shield battery up. But finally, they take him down. So this is the moment. Torrent sees it. They've got a 2v3 advantage. Eurice is falling down. They're going to go for the quick res. Knoqd trying to push this as well. Doesn't want to allow it to happen. He's going to get an angle in time, and Bowswer has to let it go. Knockdown shield being applied. They get the final kill, so it will be a 3v2. But what has happened here? Stuhni, he goes down. Looks like Torrent will be getting on the board here after they clean up Bowswer.
I love this from Knoqd here. He was able to get that knockdown on one of their players, and then they were able to push up off of that. Don't let them revive. Assert dominance. Apply it pressure. One step at a time. And even though they were in a 3v2 and he finished thirsting, he played it safe on that ramp and allowed his teammates to help him out. And that's showing respect to Era Eternity there.
And that's what you need to do.
Yep.
These guys clearly, given an inch, will take a mile. And in Overflow, we see Torrent finally get back on the board. Is this what they needed? A little bit of just a self-confidence boost to say, okay, these guys aren't infallible. They aren't superheroes. They're not wizards like we know I have on my co-cast desk here with Girl. And, you know, Eurice opting in for the shield batteries leaves the Phoenix kit, as most often do. That's the most aggressive pull to try to get and leaves you the most exposed. But if he can continue to play the way he has, I think he's going to see much more help from his teammates Knoqd and RKN, who have started to get their feet warm here. Stuhni looking to get taken down. Bowswer looking to hit a couple of these shots as well, and it is Bowswer who falls thanks to Eurice. Stuhni does get knocked, and it's Eurice who has to fight this one by himself. Could be tough. It's a really big headshot, though, and now that's even things up. Oh, another headshot. Oh, my God. It's 1v1. First shot to win, and this is where the spray and pray wins the day. Torrent, clean it up. What a nice move by Eurice. The flatline ends up giving him that extra bit of damage. Both were 1 health.
I love how he didn't give up the confidence there to win it, even though he just got headshotted in the face, right? So he still played it cool, calm, and collective. They were both 1 HP, in fact. But having a spray gun is so good in that situation, even though, you know, the wingman does massive amount of damage. Being able to just peek over and just shoot right away and secures it. And it was well played by Eurice.
And a phenomenal 99 PK shot as well. I mean, that's really what evened things up, because you just say, how is it even close? Eurice just got hit for 142 off of 2 headshots, and suddenly it's they both have no health. PK will do it for you. Definitely the best shotgun this season, even though we've seen a lot of Mozambiques in the forefront today. A good grenade there. Knows exactly where Knoqd is. It's not going to hit. A head glitch on the side of Eurice. Forces Bowswer for a preemptive grenade. Feels Eurice might move there, and it actually is going to, but the grenade will, again, just buy them some time to inch their way closer and create better angles here to stay aggressive.
It is so hard for these players to find those angles that they need to get that knock. RKN, he took so much damage in the beginning of the game again. That's what it's like playing a Gibby. It's really hard, but staying alive is what matters. In that last round, RKN was popping the battery. He got it off, which made enough space for his teammates to get the rebound, which was great. Here we have Stuhni popping the battery. He has Wingman Mozambique in hand. He has a Digithreat even. Oxy also having to pop a battery, so we see Torrent applying and asserting so much pressure onto them.
And this is what we saw earlier with Torrent and Arena Demons. Torrent having an incredible, indelible spirit to adjust, to adapt, to use their experience, and really compete in those tough moments. And so far, they are 1 map away here, 1 round away from turning it in. Knoqd knows it, and he finds the crucial first kill. He doesn't get knocked as well, but this is where Stuhni has to go in, because he knows that the trade has to occur. It's 2v3. This is going to work. Could be 3v1. Oh, yeah. Torrent, baby. They're coming back like a torrent in this one. Eurice has to make some craziness happen, and he's not going to be able to do it. He misses that. He's now on the low ground. That'll make an easy shield battery swap. Eurice just doing his best to poke away. Surprise, not a little bit more aggression, but that's how much they know it matters. Torrent tie up the series just like that. We have ourselves a game, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, we knew both of these teams were super good, and it just depends on the map, you know? It seems like one or the other is super, super strong. We've never seen a long round come through by any of these teams, but Torrent bringing it back off of a bad first round. We didn't expect that to happen, but having Eurice gain that confidence, not getting those knocks, was great.
I think there's a bit of an ego challenge there. 2 confident teams who aren't going to give themselves any lack of benefit of the doubt. That's why I think these fights are happening fast, because both of them aren't afraid of each other. We'll see if that continues in game number 3. Coming up right after this break, we've got our series tied 1-1.
And welcome back, everybody, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Rain Day and Girl, and what a series we have here. I said that the last time I was watching semifinals, and I'm saying it again. Super happy, Girl, to watch Torrent fight back and win map number 2 on Overflow, a map that Era has been playing exceedingly well, but not in this series.
Absolutely. They've been taking their angles well, and after the first round, you know, that was a little fluke, okay, but they did exceedingly well. They were able to take those 1v1s, and Eurice ending up clutching it out. Knoqd taking those angles, and RKN was backing up Eurice every step of the way.
Yeah, you really love to see it, don't you, Rain Day? I mean, at this point, Torrent putting up a wonderful fight. I understand your heart wanted to go with Torrent, but your brain went with Era. I can't blame you on that. The series still very early, but now we have to focus our attention to Phase Runner, map number 3. We've been talking about it being, the slowest of the maps we'll see in this series, and Girl might think that it actually favors Torrent in this case. What do you think, Rain Day?
I think it actually will favor Era for the fast pace. I think Torrent is better at slowing things down a little bit and kind of keeping their own pace to the game, where they can make the decisive move. However, what I do think is that the pill fight becomes really the test. Eurice was getting knocked really early on Thermal Station, and then he kind of made a good adjustment to get aggressive, get the pills, and it stopped being contested in this round. So because the fight was centering more so on a safer pill fight versus where you fight on this, which is a much more aggressive pill fight, it gives, I think, Era the ability to get aggressive, hit a few shots, and capitalize on it. I actually feel like this will tilt more in Era's favor here.
Oh, wow. So a bit of a divide here. Fair enough. I mean, that's just how close the series truly is. Eurice is a guy that needs to pop off. We looked at his stats earlier. We know he's a dominant pathfinder. He needs to get to those pills and make an impact, but maybe an opportunity for Era once again, like on Thermal Station, to isolate him, take him down first, and then have the man advantage so they can close out the map. Hey, Rain Day Girl, this is still an excellent series, and we're going to get to at least see 2 more maps. Hopefully, maybe we'll even get to that Game 5. But until then, take it away.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Reflections, Rain Day here, and Girl casting in this second semifinal of the day, right before your finals, to culminate this grand final experience, this 2-day tournament here for the $10,000 Invitational put on by UMG. Got to give a big shout out to everybody at UMG working behind the scenes, making this happen, and all the players, of course, participating. We've got a great matchup here. It's 1-1. It's Torrent versus Era. I was a big fan of Torrent yesterday. Era have been dominant no matter what. They show that in Thermal, but then Torrent have bounced back. So in Phase, do you agree with my assessment, Girl? Do you think Torrent's going to really have the advantage here?
To be honest, I think Bowser's going to pop off here with those wingman shots, but I think Eurice is going to hold it down. And RKN, to be honest, with those long-range snipers, right? I know Knoqd excels in those close-range battles, but I really think this is RKN's time to shine, and we're going to be seeing those sniping, long-range distance shots, perhaps a triple take. Hopefully not a repeater. I like watching triple take more. But that's what we're going to see.
I love it. And I think that's really what you need here when you look at all of these options. You see longbows, triple takes, repeaters. You do have to have a chance to do damage from range because you just can't cross this open space due to Phase Runners' just overall mobility here. You just need those characters to make this happen. So when you look at the weapons, we talked about it. I'm still surprised we're not seeing G7 scouts. What's happening? Is it just being priced out? Is it just there's not enough of a moment where people are running in the open? I feel like the G7 in pro play particularly works great not only for poking when you're in these kind of nobody can move yet, no one wants to move in these poke battles, and they're only moving when the zone happens. And then when people are running through the zone and you have this quick, fast fire rate that can really punish people out in the open for more than a few seconds. But it seems like that's not applicable here in arenas, and you rather have the big, heavier hitting weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the fact that the G7 Scout may be in the care package this season, so they may not be able to purchase. It might be just a little too expensive per se, or a little too rare to get your hands on.
A little too rare to get your hands on.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a good point out, like having a fast-paced, long-range weapon is really good. And actually a lot of pros still prefer the G7 Scout. I haven't played it in quite a while, so in my games, I pick it up. I miss every single shot. I don't know if it's maybe too fast-paced for me. I'm more of those heavy-hitting, longbow, long-range shots. So the longbow we've seen yesterday, and also the triple take. I think just because it came back into the drop loop.
Pool.
Yeah, the drop spawn. Everybody's super excited because it works as a shotgun and as a long-range weapon. Whereas the G7 Scout, it never used to work like a shotgun per se as good as the triple take.
Yeah, that's true. And I think maybe, the question is answered in what's there. With the G7 not there, we see the 30-30 repeater picked up so much more often now than maybe we had seen in prior seasons, to where it's still filling that role for the hybrid long-range poke, hybrid long-range, some burst damage, but also the up close close shotgun potential. However, the triple take, you're right. I mean, now that it's options, for players, there's just so many ways to go about it. And at the end of the day, you cannot keep playing for only long range, even in these longer maps. You got to plan for what happens when the round comes to an end. And that's where shotgun's typically in for it. I like the car yesterday, though. We saw a little bit of the car action. How are you feeling heading into this season here with the car? I mean, is it something that you feel is going to overtake anything? I've seen mixed reviews, but a lot of fun overall, but mixed reviews as far as if this is really going to replace an R9, a Volt, or Flatline in realistic situations.
So the R9 has been around for a long time, and these pro players have adjusted and are used to the recoil of it, so they can use the R99 at mid-range or even long-range distance well and effectively. But for the car, the recoil is just a little too much, so it's okay very close range, but mid-range and long-range, it just doesn't cut it like the R99 does. Although it does a lot of damage and outputs a lot of damage, and you could use both ammo, whether it be heavy or light, a lot of players prefer a stronger weapon and a more versatile weapon. That's why you see the 30-30 repeater. The shatter caps makes it so good on close range quarters combat, right? But having those shatter caps enabled or equipped when you're shooting long range can mess you up real bad. I remember I was in a clutch situation and I had shatter caps enabled and I shot long range and only did like 9 damage. And that could really hurt you. So that's why these guys are pro players. They know how to use it effectively. And the Volt, we've been seeing the Volt a lot because it's a lot like the R9, except it does output more damage because the mag is so much bigger, right? And here we go, Stuhni starting it off with 2 good wingman shots.
And that's exactly what you want to do. We saw the Mozambique being fired the moment that they landed out of that phase runner portal. And look at this. This is where it is. There's no tactics. It's just straight into aggression. We've seen Era do really nicely there. Eurice is hitting so many shots. He's gotten 2. And so it's Knoqd versus Eurice. Are you kidding me? Is this going to be Knoqd bringing it home? Coming from that backside, it's Eurice who cleans it up. He got all 3. Wow, what a play there. And this is what I said, Era, they are going to push the narrative. They are going to go for the aggression, and none of these teams are going to back down.
They always start off round 1 like this. They're strong as a team together. And having that Wraith create so much space, it was great. They're all so low. If Knoqd could take 1v1s against each of them, he could have had a chance. But because they were all still up and alive, that's playing your life. You got to play your life. The numbers advantage could be better than the HP advantage, right? So, hope to see them stay alive in this next round.
The Volt, definitely a heavy investment. And when you consider what the wingman is, it's even more effective than that Volt. Saves you that extra 50 credits. And so we see a lot of that chosen as well. Flatline, more of a style option. And the Mozambique, really free and a very easy upgrade in terms of your options to add that Bolt for increased fire rate. And, of course, get your sight of choice. Bowswer and the rest of them fighting from distance, maybe waiting for this care package to drop, maybe taking a second before screaming and charging into each other. What a battle of juggernauts here in the Apex Legends arena scene. No fear whatsoever, and this is what makes it such a tantalizing fight.
He's trying to ping out where he thinks they may be, but take a look at the map. It's not ending directly on this side, so they could potentially opt to go for the high ground, go for the outer skirts of the map, and now they're all doing it there together. Torrent, full HP. They're trying to push off of the damage that they dealt, but Stuhni's actually going to be able to pop up the Phoenix fully, so it will be a 3v3 situation. But Eurice with this high ground, he's going in, he's going to full-on commit. He has to get a knock before he goes down, or it's all for nothing here. He's reloading, and he gets through. It looked like they were winning that, but Era Eternity just staying alive, staying together, sticking together, taking every angle they can against Torrent. It just isn't working out in their favor.
So surprising, too. I mean, the way that happened, it felt like Eurice created such an opening. I could have sworn that when he went in there, it should have been a kill, but Eurice hits a great shot on the Knoqd. Knoqd is overly exposed. Arcane is behind Eurice. and that's really the one who's being focused on. And then it ends up being Aurice able to clean it up. Really, I think it was just bad positioning because trying to get the angles, they actually exposed themselves outside of cover and weren't able to do anything about that.
Yeah, towards a team like them, they did not have a Gibby, right? They have a Wraith. So if they just took that a little slower on Torrent's end and just took some angles, not full on, just jumped right into their faces, they may have been able to clean wipe that. But because Oxy played that tree so darn well and output is so damaged, he really is a shining star here.
Oh my God! What a combo! Oxy's grenade plus 2 shots deletes him without a chance to move. Knoqd gets knocked in one of the craziest ways we've seen in arenas. That one is going to be a replay to watch for a while. Era Eternity not only clean up the map, they do it in style. Oh, after that play by Oxy, I can barely breathe.
That was quick, and we were just talking about him too. He's a shining star. Like, he's creating those openings for his team. He's staying alive as long as possible. I don't know how he does it. But that grenade too, it's not easy to hit grenades like that against pro players because they would dodge them. But in that instance, it was just perfect. It landed in the perfect instance, and he hit those shots at the same exact time. That was perfect.
I mean, just the ability to follow it up with the 2 shots, right? I mean, because it's not an angle that Knoqd's trying to give him. He's trying to hide behind there, and he just finds that right little left side, that half of a body poking out, that half of a model able to be shot. And boy, oh boy, the hitbox. Look at this play right here. I mean, this is everything. He finds it, and then the grenade. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. One of the most efficient kills possible in Apex Legends, and we see Era Eternity and Aurice doing it the way they should. This is making for a very interesting game number 4 because it's Party Crasher, and we already know these teams love going aggressive into these fights early. These rounds are ending like this. No game has really lasted more than maybe 7 minutes, and the longest one was on, of course, Overflow, where that seemed to take an eternity.
Yeah, and here we are going on to our next map, and honestly, I don't know who to cheer for anymore. It's sad for Torrent, but
Yeah.
they are absolutely getting demolished by Era Eternity because of their fast-paced, aggressive play. I think if Torrent could just calm down a little bit, I feel like they were in some advantageous positions that they just didn't take advantage of.
Yeah, and again, we don't see what I really think is so interesting about this matchup and the way Era play. And I'm going to echo what I said earlier. Is just notice how the fights happen in almost the same spot, the same time. There's no languishing movement. There was one round where they kind of slowly moved and they took their time, and that was round 2. But mostly these fights happen in the exact, they see each other, they meet each other, they start shooting, and they just get closer and closer, and the fight starts and somebody dies. That is the way that they like to play. So Torrent, like you mentioned, girl, have to find a way to adjust that pace. Otherwise, it's just going right into Era Eternity's plans.
Yeah, if it were, say, Arena Demons, for example, they like to take it easy. They like to go around, get someone flanking, but these two
take a
teams,
nap.
they just like to headbutt, and that's what we've been seeing time and time again. And Torrent may have to just switch it up. I know they're really good at headbutting, depending on the map, right? So if this is their map, go ahead and headbutt. But if it's not your map, if you find yourself losing time and time again, figure something out. Do something different.
I find it's tough. I mean, sometimes this is much more battle, less of skill, but of mind, and of ego at times, because you don't want to be the person to withdraw from doing the headbutting. You want to be the person that makes the other withdraw, saying we can't hang with you. But right now, it's just not working. And myself, the tactician I like to consider myself whenever I play sports, if it's not working, I'm like, all right, well, what do I need to do to make it work? Because it's all about that end result. You want to be in those finals. Don't worry about it if you have to withdraw, if it ends up getting you your ultimate outcome that you desire. Phase Runner here could be the end of our semis, spelling an Era Eternity in Esports Arena's finals. But it's up to Torrent to stop that narrative, put themselves back in the conversation, and send it to a Game 5. We'll find out what happens as we begin here.
Here we go, $10,000 invitational semifinals. Let's see who gets into this grand finals. Torrent is down 1-2 to Era Eternity, and we are starting on the first round of the map here. Both teams went for different sides. They both got some heals and meds to play a long one. Bowswer taking in a lot of damage. They could potentially push off of this because Era is actually split up by a long shot. They are taking over their high ground. They're taking angles. And I wonder if they know where Oxy is. He's stimming out. He's trying to sim out. Stuhni's taking a nice angle across the map as well. But Bowser's getting pushed by Knoqd.
Wow, RKN had a really nice angle for a moment and then suddenly starts getting aggressed on. He's playing the Ash. Oxy Eurice is going down, and that's the player that you want to get down as soon as possible. Almost the way that we saw visually happening in last round, where they just had that last remaining player who was so deadly, whether it be Skittle Cakes or any of those members. It was just so difficult for them to get past the aim. And there it is. You can see it right there. Suddenly, there's a little bit of momentum. RKN, Eurice, and the boys survive, find a way to push this through into a 1-0 start.
Hey, here we go. That's exactly what Torrent needed, a good start. And here we have Eurice taking the high ground over them. He's playing this cool, calm, and collected. He actually does end up popping the BAP before he pushes with RKN. RKN's probably feeling really good not being on that Gibby, not being able to get shot at 3 times and falling over, right? So it's going to be nice to see the new strategies popping up from this squad. They haven't given up yet.
Knoqd, RKN, and Eurice. A great duo here. Had some great performances yesterday. Excuse me, trio. And now they're looking to repeat here. It'd be huge to get a 2-0 lead. And that would give them a huge cushion. Just would need one to go ahead and tie the series up, force a game 5. And Knoqd already, though, down. Wow, what an immediate response here from Bowser. Eurice looking to go down as well. Oh, and Oxy Eurice here getting aggressed on. This is RKN doing what he needs to do. I love the aggression, and he actually buys a lot of time there. Still, Eurice able to get the shield battery off, but RKN sacrificed himself for the goals. And it will look to be Bowser and the rest of Era Eternity tying things up. That was a quick response.
It was indeed.
For what seemed like could have been Torrent taking that 2-0 lead they needed.
Yeah, Knoqd, unfortunately, Oxy had an angle on Knoqd, was able to output 150 damage, and Bowser was just in the perfect position to take advantage of it, getting that knock. I really like the effort by RKN. He was almost able to take down Oxy almost for free there. If he got that knock, it would have been so big, but staying alive is so important, and it seems like Era Eternity is so good at that, staying alive.
And they're also really good at turning maybe a chaotic situation into their favor. I think they go for it, and then something may not work, and they get shot at, but they don't die, and they just keep going in one after another. The tag team, the ability to go and utilize the entirety of your teammates' pool, health pool, like it was a singular player by opting in for 100 or 125 damage on one. Then they deplete. Then they go get a shield battery. The second one with full shield comes out, takes that same place, keeps firing. You're able to be so much more effective if you use all of what you have as a unit. And that is seemingly what Era Eternity have mastered here. Oxy Eurice on the staircase. Stuhni has to hit a shield bat. He will. And Bowser looking on that left side. Stuhni has eyes on him as well. Oxy Eurice deciding to just bide his time, and a nice shot there. 2 shots here from RKN.
I love to see RKN always super close to Eurice there. He's always trying to cover him, making sure he doesn't die. He output a little bit of damage there, but he will have to heal. Both teams will be trying to get back up to full HP, but look at the deficit of heals on Eurice here. They might try and make a move.
Yeah, and Oxy, I mean, you can see this. He's got so much going for him. He's got 3 shield batteries, but time is now his biggest issue. And a couple of good shots from the Mozambique. It's essentially a version of a shotgun spray and pray because it just shoots for so much. Oxy Eurice won't have time. If Torrent is any good, and they are, they will be pushing the envelope here and making sure that there is no time to heal whatsoever. RKN uses the Ash ultimate to get a little bit of height, and yep, it pays off. Torrent take the 2-1 lead.
Love to see it. I was just actually talking about how he was in a deficit of heals, and then Era Eternity go for that bin and instantly get punished for it. That is exactly what Torrent needed. If Era was a little bit more patient there, they may have been able to pull that one through. But Torrent coming back, they want the comeback. They want to win this next round so they can get a 3-1 and go for map number 5.
Well, they're one win away, and if you are Torrent, and if you somehow can't capitalize, that is going to be something that might give you a restless night's sleep tonight, at least for a few days, knowing how close you were to keep this alive and just be one game away from finals. It's been a great effort from both teams thus far, though. But we're starting to get into those decider moments, and Bowswer taking a lot of damage. Eurice firing away, and he finds Bowswer. Wow.
Incredible shots, making another opening yet again for his team. This might be the 3-1 that they're looking for. Eurice is going to be full HP. It's Oxy in a 1v2 against 2 players that are full HP. And there we have it. Torrent are the winners of our map number 4. This is going to be a really great series to rewatch, learn from, and hopefully we get to see one of these teams go into our grand finals here shortly.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just seeing the way these teams bounce back. And Torrent, I mean, they have been maybe a little bit more of an efficient version of Na'Vi, who is very adaptable, who knows how to play strategically, who knows how to make adjustments on the fly, and can be decisive. And that's where we're seeing Eurice, that early knock, those flatline shots. If that doesn't happen, that's a shield battery, that's a slow play, that's a rest, recover. I mean, that was the deciding moment. And so wonderful play. But overall, we talked about it earlier. If this team is going to make things happen, Eurice has to keep playing like that. He has to be the X factor for Torrent. And so far in that game, he was.
He was indeed. And now we're going to go on to game number 5 after this break.
And welcome back, everybody, to the UMG Champions Apex Legends Arena $10,000 Invitational. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Rain Day and Girl, a Map 5. I can't believe we're getting to this point. But before we talk about Map 4, which was great for Torrent, let's talk about that beatdown, which, kind of started us off after that break. Phase Runner, Rain Day, was blistering fast.
Yeah, Phase Runner was, as we expected, and it's great to know these maps a little bit more intimately now and kind of see, okay, what can we expect as a viewer, as a caster, but also what can you do to surprise us? And I think the way that Torrent adjusted after what was a very startling fast kind of push from Era Eternity was impressive. Yeah. I love the way that Torrent was able to really bounce back. They took that one map, that one round that they lost, were able to turn it right around, take the 3-1, and now we've got that elusive Dome. What will we see?
I know, girl. I'm excited for Dome for multiple different reasons, and I think the biggest reason is the fact that on the stat sheet, girl, either team has not played Dome at all throughout this entire tournament. So it really is an even battlefield, an even playing ground, and I truthfully don't know who's going to end up making it. Era was the favorite in my mind, but Torrent has been putting up one hell of a fight, and I've loved every bit of it. I obviously have to hop off. It makes me sad I don't get to talk to you as much, but it is what it is, right? Everybody wants to see the action, and the action's about to go down. So Rain Day Girl, take it away.
Thanks, Taylor. We know it's tough to jump off in a game 5, but hey, you get the best seats in the house. Plus, I heard you watching it even 30 seconds before it gets encoded onto Twitch. So you've got a good seat for sure. And we're going to make sure that we allow you to ride the action the right way with us, bringing it along to you. It's game 5, girl. I mean, what to say? These two teams have battled it out. At this point, both deserve to be in the finals, but it's just going to be about who gets it done.
Curious to see what legends they choose on this map because they do like headbutting it out. I'm not sure if they want to play those characters that we were talking about earlier, like bringing up Horizon, Ash, Pathfinder, going for that high ground, or if they want to bring in that Gibby, that Caustic, that Watson, and try and hold down the fort, They've been playing that who can do more damage the fastest, and that's been an intense, fast-paced matches for us to see. And we normally see more strategy, more decision making, but in this, it's just who can shoot out the fastest. And I love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I think we love Arena's action for. You get to the good stuff, and you get to the clutches, and that's really what it's all about. And if you're going to put yourself in that position, sometimes you have games where it's really not about who's going to score. It's really about who's just going to defend, who's going to make the first mistake. This game is about who's going to score more, who's going to get more knockdowns, who's going to do more damage faster, more. And to me, it's like watching any type of sports venue where the score is, 160 to 168 or 7-6 in football or soccer where, there's just a crazy amount of action. That's what's fun on the replays. That's what's fun to watch as a fan. And we've got one of those here. Down to game 5. Early grapples. Don't look like we see any horizon here, and that's okay. I'm sure they've tried this map in terms of practice and said, well, we're not quite comfortable with the full adjustment. We'll go with what we know is tried and true in terms of the team fights. Bring the Gibraltar, Pathfinder, and the Octane on the side of Torrent. Makes sense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's actually a little scary for me to see RKN back on the Gibby. Hopefully they can utilize those domes to their advantage. But for me, just looking at the compositions right now and the way Aero Eternity is playing this, it looks like they're going to win round 1 from where I'm standing. But here we go. Eurice grappling in. Can he get that knock? He did scare him off to grapple away, and now he is pushing in the middle all on his lonesome. Stuhni got out though. That's an important note. He may have been able to knock him if he actually went full on in, but he could have died in the same moment. So here we go with another good spray by Eurice onto Oxy, and he's going in.
Wow, what a grapple, what a play. I mean, Eurice, he is feeling it, and that is not a guy you want to get too hot, because he will make sure to melt you, especially when he's got you in his iron sights of the flat line. Nice wingman shots from Bowswer. It's not over yet. I mean, they can play some of these angles well, but they've got to find it down and soon.
Bowser's shots have been so incredibly well throughout the whole series. I feel like he's definitely one of the top wingman users in this whole entire thing, and they could pull out a clutch here. They do not have a dome left, and I don't believe they've grabbed the meds on the team of Torrent, so let's see if they can come out. Oh, and they did get the kill, so they were able to grab the meds off of the dead body too. Gotta consider that.
Ooh. And the way that they've got this angle, unfortunately, it's hard for Torrent to push this without getting damaged, because there's a lot of angles that they can play off of holding those two sites. But right now, it's really going to be unfortunate. Eurice is just going to let the rest of the zone push them away from that perfect line of sight. The patience pays off. The zone does the work of the fourth man. And Torrent will take the lead in game 5.
Eurice with those flatline shots, with the perfect grapples, with not going down. It's just been perfect all around from him. Look at this grapple. He's able to dodge the shots from both of Oxy's teammates right here and end up getting the knock for free. That was huge. Stuhni trying to defend himself there, but not enough when it's a 3v2 situation. Not going down in the very end, but who's to care? They go next.
There's a lot that they need to do to get better at this, and Dome is one of those where it feels like there's going to be some mistakes made. I think this is the map we see probably the most mistakes made, and we see the most kind of, oh, wish I had that back moments. But maybe Stuhni's experiencing one right now. Loses almost all of his shield in the lava, and now gets pressed. Oh my goodness, that could have been bad. In fact, that was Bowswer, not Stuhni. So both 2 out of 3 members lose a ton of shield just moving.
Luckily, he was able to get that battery off without taking damage from that grenade, but his teammates also getting pressed inside. Inside and outside, they've got damage going through both sides, but they actually take down RKN while he's pushing in alone, and Knoqd gets damaged up as well. Eurice is going to have to do a good job to cover him, but now it's a 2v3 situation. Knoqd actually doesn't opt to heal. He's opting to get a re-knock and put this back into their favor in a 2v2 situation. That was crazy.
And he gets the little pinky thumb action as well, saying, what's up, brother, mahalo, because he knows he just said hello in the worst way possible. Waiting for the top. Knoqd is going to finish it off. What a round by Knoqd.
Wow.
Enjoy the emo, baby. Dance, dance, dance. Because you are 1 round away from moving into grand finals off some beautiful play.
Knoqd's decision-making there, aggressiveness, those ego chops. This was amazing, incredible. He needed that knock on Bowswer. But also, take a look at this. Eurice going out and Knoqd, even with 1 HP, he's holding that head glitch. He's holding the guy on the roof, and he's hitting and connecting every single shot. They played that perfectly.
Well, it is 1 round away for Torrent. We have been fans of them here on the casting desk. The fans watching here in the chat have picked Torrent to move on, but it has been Era Eternity who have taken all of most predictions and all of the points for most of the tournament, now finding themselves down in a deficit. That means perfection is the only thing that will allow them to move forward into the finals, or their run here in the tournament will end today. Stuhni takes high ground. That level of earnest, steadfast approach to ego challenge may just be different here today. Eurice, though, giving a little bit less than he got, and so he jumps off, and Stuhni remains on the high ground. Good sign here for the late game of Era Eternity.
I really like that from Era Eternity, that Stuhni's going for the high ground. They really need to prolong this fight. They need to not die in the beginning towards Knoqd, Arcane, and Eurice. Eurice always trying to go for that entry frag. So if they can play this a little more safer, but also take more of the map like they're doing right now, having these angles is definitely going to be able to secure them at least 1 round of a win. So I like this for them.
Yeah, they've got almost everything covered. They're slowly but surely trying to approach here. Why not get the reload? Not anticipating any movement there. He gets 1 shot onto the white shield. That's enough. Will have an impact. And trying to just maybe make a move a little closer. There's the stalemate there, the silence. Oh, it's so loud. In this moment, Torrent knows they have a chance to rush outside, win 1 team fight, and be in the grand finals. But they've got Eurice outside, and that's enough to slow you down and make you just rethink your plan to make sure you've got it right. But the ring is closing right now, girl.
This might actually come down to a bubble fight if this prolongs any further there. So it may end on top of this building. Hopefully it doesn't come off to heal off, and hopefully they do end up fighting. Let's take a look to see where this pulls. Right inside of that building in the middle. So there may be a dome fight. Let's take a look at their weapons, because weapons are really important. We've got wingmans, Mozambiques, but a lot of Mozambiques. Not PKs, not Mastiffs right here. No. It's a lot of Mozambiques. So this might be a hard bubble fight.
Eurice does have a PK, though, and that is something that we've seen he knows how to use very well, to the chagrin of anybody he's going up against. Here's that final moment. Still on height is Stuhni, providing that ultimate cover. Knoqd may find that out in just a moment. You can tell some of the shots raining down from afar. Eurice has changed his position, and now the zone is closing. Their route's becoming more and more predictable. Bowswer ready with the Peacekeeper for anyone who starts to approach, and they know they've got to run out. This is, oh, he missed! He missed! And Bowswer, will he go down here? That is terrible for Era Eternity. Torrent have turned it around. They have gone down and out, but will Stuhni be the one to hold it down? It's 1 shot, Knoqd. Can he clutch it? Stuhni going for the shots as well, and he'll do it. Era Eternity are still alive. Stuhni stuns us.
Stuhni with that clutch. Oh my goodness. That was absolutely crazy, because Bowswer was about to feel bad. Bowswer was about to have those nightmares from missing that initial PK shot that would have hit huge. But Stuhni with the 1v2 clutch there at the end. I am so excited to see this one play out.
Oh my goodness. And I feel like there was an opportunity, looking back at that, to not choke the PK and just fire it flat, because the spread would have been valuable for the most amount of damage on the most amount of the team. And the choke has the chance of missing, and it did miss. So maybe an opportunity here for an unlikely comeback. Torrent had it, and they've let it slip. Will they do it again? 1 more round here that they're on match point. Otherwise, it is tied up. And they've got to win 2 more rounds. Torrent do not want to let this opportunity slip away. And Stuhni holding high ground as he has done before. That has worked. Eurice very isolated. I wonder if this is an opportunity maybe for Era to make a call and say, maybe we should shift here before Knoqd and the rest of the squad can get to him.
It was a really good note, actually. I don't know if these pro players would have thought about that, to not hold in the PK shot while 3 of them came out. That would have done massive damage, but Stuhni's getting bullied up there, actually. He pops the battery. He survives with 110 HP. He's going to opt to use some syringes, as most pro players don't buy any med kits. They normally just opt for batteries because they're faster and they're more efficient in team fights.
Yep.
But he did stay alive, and that's the most important thing. Knoqd looking for angles. He gets tagged out by Stuhni, and Stunny's going to pre-nade that door just in case they try and come in.
Not the best communication. Oxy was the only one outside of it, and Knoqd is already down. So it is a 3v2. Stuhni, 2v2 now. Oxy without the shield bat. He's got to find a space to do it. It looks like he might. Stuhni trying to buy some time there. He loses the damage. It's all up to Oxy, who hasn't found time here. Is it going to be Torrent who clean it up? Oxy is 1 health. I don't think he's going to make it out of it. He gets the shield bat. And so he's bought a little bit of time. But is that enough? They say it's the most valuable resource, but damage truly is, and that's it. Eurice cleans it up. Torrent are heading to your grand finals. They take down Era Eternity, and they seal the deal.
Torrent against Esports Arena. That's something I'm going to be watching with my dinner in hand. That is exciting news. Torrent with the comeback in this series. Really proud of them for how they played, keeping that aggression, keeping that momentum going, even though they didn't have it originally.
Yeah, I'm blown away. You know, that's the thing about it, you know, going into this at least final map, right, Rain Day? We didn't know who was going to be the better team on Dome because they hadn't played it as of yet. We literally had 0 stats there. I did see some incredible moments, and I really was hoping in Era's namesake that once Stuhni made that massive 1v2 clutch after Bowswer missed that PK shot, I was like, this could be the turning point. But the next round right after that, obviously we see Torrent close it out.
Yeah, and you know, Torrent played better as a team. I think to rely on a moment like that from Stuhni to save it, to clutch it, just shows, you know, how kind of desperate it was. Most of these rounds were won by 2 to 3 members of Torrent already alive. Era Eternity not able to capitalize. So shout-outs to Stuhni, shout-outs to the entirety of Era Eternity. They were incredible. Oxy, Eurice, one of the more impressive performances on the whole in a series that we've seen. But the fact that Eurice was able to do Eurice things, that we could see the adjustments from RKN, and we could see just, I really love the fact that they were able to connect with each other and play the way that they wanted to play. Knoqd was phenomenal in some of those rounds. I think everyone stepped up, and it was a total team effort.
And girl, you know, from the very beginning, you went with Torrent, you believed in them, you saw the potential. I must say, I am very impressed that they made it this far. Obviously, we hyped them up yesterday, but the fact that they actually made it to grand finals is an incredible thing because Era had been running through every single team. And like I said, you believed in Torrent from the beginning. What was it really that swayed your opinion for Torrent?
Well, I know Torrent, I think, a little bit more personally, and like I said, I've played against Knoqd, I've played with Eurice, I played with Knoqd as well, so that's why I was going with my heart there. But they've been playing incredibly well yesterday. They absolutely demolished the teams that they played against, and it was nice to see that happen again today. It was a hard fought battle. Era Eternity put up a hell of a fight. Don't get me wrong, that was a great series to watch. But Torrent, I thought they should change the way they play, right? Like I was talking about maybe they should change something up. They didn't. They put their heads right in their faces. They didn't care about anything else. They were like, I'm better. I'm going to kill you. And Knoqd going for all of those entry damage, entry frags. You saw when he had no armor and he got a kill for his team in that 2v3 situation. That game knowledge and determination was amazing to see.
You know, Randy, I'm looking at the stats. Eurice seems like the outlier, the guy who really pulled up and went big through and through. Would you say he was your MVP on Torrent during this matchup?
I'd say that Eurice wasn't my MVP because he has to do that for this team to be successful. I'd give it to Knoqd. I think Knoqd made the plays that truly, if he didn't make that play that girl just mentioned about and a couple of other ones, they wouldn't have been able to clutch it up. We might have been looking at 2-2 already, and they would have had to win 2 more rounds against Era. But overall, what a great series. What a great set. What a great time casting my first, UMG Arena Invitational. I hope there's many more in the future. It's been awesome hanging out with you and with Girl. We're so excited to watch on the sidelines, watch Dan and Mark get this grand finals going for us.
I can confidently say it was a pleasure working with the both of you, girl, right? The third time we've had a chance to work together. Rain Day, for the first time, your guys' analysis was on point. Love the banter back and forth, and, love to see you guys in the future, killing it once again. Again, it was a pleasure. And Grand Finals is going to be coming up, and you said I had the best seat in the house, right, as we were transitioning to Map 5. Now you have the best seat in the house. Now you do, because now you get to see it all unfold and go down, and girl, you said you got your dinner ready to go, so enjoy that. But either way, guys, Grand Finals is finally solidified. We know the two teams who are about to go and play it out for all the money. It's going to be Esports Arena playing against Torrent. You don't want to miss out. It all comes down to this. We'll be right back after this break.